Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode of eCoffee with Experts. I'm your host, Matt Fraser. And on today's show, we have with us Jamilah Lawry. Jamilah is a visionary leader and digital marketing expert who has dedicated her career to helping businesses revolutionize their operations through the power of technology and innovative strategies. As the CEO of My Biz Consulting, she has been at the forefront of disruptive business consulting, earning recognition as a technology disruptor, public speaker, and radio personality. With an unwavering commitment to staying ahead of the curve, Jamilah continues to inspire businesses across industries to embrace change and achieve new heights of success. Join us today as we welcome this dynamic and transformative entrepreneur to our podcast. Jamilah, thank you for being here. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Matt. It's a pleasure.
No problem. Yeah. Hey, Jamilah, how would your university professors describe you as a student?
I would say artistic. I was not the perfect sit in a seat kid. I was more less late to class, super, had everything done, got bored quick. One of those kind of challenge. I would definitely challenge the status quo nonstop.
Well, that's always good to do. What made you decide to pursue computer and information sciences?
That was something that it really piqued my interest. Being someone that's hands-on and inquisitive, it was something that, and I had no idea we were going this direction back in those days, but it was something, it was new, it was fresh, and I wanted in on it. I seen these computers and it was like, hey, I want to get in and learn how it all works. So that's kind of what got me started.
Oh, neat. Can you share your journey into entrepreneurship with us?
Okay, my journey was pretty forced, I'm going to say. I worked in the IT field as IT manager, help desk supervisor. So I had a bunch of IT experience going in. I also did a dual major in school. So I also took behavioral analysis, psychology. I didn't realize what my skill set was, which was actually computer science. I was able to put the behavior behind the technology and make those analytics work for companies. There was no data science role or even an existence of data science at the time. I just had a special set of skills. Wow. So I was being pulled in different directions by referral for people who say, hey, we have this girl who can do this. She can help you. She can help you make sense of this chart that we have. We can actually put that data together and figure out how our team is working on a specific project. So with that being said, at the time I worked for a really small organization, a consulting firm in the Jewish community, where we actually consulted for synagogues, which was something I was really comfortable doing. So found myself, as we go into companies, we start working. We never do what we're like hired to do on the paper. So it's like I was fixing printers and repairing inkjet stuff. It was just all over the place and crazy. I spent time there for a few years, just managing the office operations, helping the rabbi with his laptop, which he had and could not work at all. So it was like, I can't work this. Really enjoyed that environment. And I learned a lot. I got a great info. Just the consulting edge had a big impact on me. Later, I left there after getting sick. So I was diagnosed with cancer. I said, yes. And I'm like, I can't go back to work because I'm in treatment 90% of the time. I have 2 little girls at home. I can't be a mom, go to treatment, and still go to work. Almost impossible. After that, I decided I knew I had to leave work, but I knew I also had to make money to pay bills. So I had a previous job. I was managing a kind of like a clinic, a mental health clinic. And a lot of the specialists there needed help because they were more or less behavioral specialists, therapists, things like that. They needed help getting their notes into the computer system because this laptop thing was new to them. And they're like, okay, I can leave here and I have to put my notes in the system and I have no idea how to do this. So I'm 8 clients backed up. So I offered to assist them. I said, hey, you could bring them by my house and I could do those for you and for X amount of dollars. And we actually I did work with one person. Then referrals came in. I said, oh my goodness, I can't risk having a whole bunch of income coming in this way, because at the time I was getting medical assistance and I needed my medical assistance to stay in place. The big struggle, of course. And
Yeah.
I ended up starting a business to separate myself from the company itself.
Okay.
So that was the beginning of My Biz Consulting, same name. I didn't change anything. It was just My Biz Consulting. And we consulted. I knew that I could do a bunch of things from different jobs, that's experience and just regular knowledge I had from school. So I implemented those things. I literally sat and handwritten a list of things I could do. And that was like my sales sheet. This is my sales sheet. I can do these things for you. And here's the price list. And I lived like that for about 2 years.
Okay.
Treatment was up. I went into remission. I was back at
That's
it.
awesome.
Found another job with a large company, actually a major corporation here in the States. And I ended up back in IT. This time it was more or less help desk sales capacity, selling to small businesses, selling internet service to small business. And I ended up learning a lot of the back end, even more. I became more on the engineering side of how this all works, but also selling these services and supporting small businesses. The first thing that hit me was these people have no support. They have no IT support. They're a small business. They're calling this company and saying, hey, you provide my internet service. Can you fix this? Can you come hang out and hang up my screen or do this in my office? And we're like, no, we have a demarcation. We can't do those things. So I decided to start an IT company where we strictly supported small businesses. We would be the actual IT firm for small business. From there, I did that, let's say, for about 3 to 4 years. And eventually they, of course, got on my nerves. It became outrageous. They wanted the sun, the moon, and the stars together all at once today. So we were able, not at all. From there, we learned just a lot. Took on a lot of information. I had a little team that I built who were working from home, just basically just doing customer support, tech support type stuff. It was a simple setup. And I decided to do something completely different. I'm like, I want to get into, I see these companies, they're struggling in different angles, and having a website and being visible online was like one of the major issues small businesses were struggling with. Aside from that, they had no SOPs in place. 90% of the small businesses that I spoke to, they had not. I would say, how do you do this? Or what's your process? And they were like, they would show me, I do this and that. I'm like, did you have this written down somewhere? And they're like, no. I'm like, okay. So having that clear understanding of what a SOP is, how to put that in place, I started to consult them because I couldn't do my job of getting that website up and really helping them to put the visibility in place without understanding what the company did. I switched things up a little. And mind you, my business was already My Biz Consulting. And I became a small business consultant for technology. So really helping them to grasp. And I'm the pivot queen, I like to call myself, because I'll pivot in a second when I see a need and I'll go to that need.
Yeah.
Because it's in our field, it's okay. It's beyond technology. It's beyond right now for me, as I see it, with a lot of small businesses here in the States opening every single day. So it's okay. How much do you know about business? I'll get calls and they'll say, hey, I want to get SEO. And I'm like, okay. So what level of SEO are you looking for? Are you looking for local? Are you looking for national SEO? Do you have an e-commerce website? Do you have an informational website? They have no idea what I'm talking about.
Wow.
So with that being said, I realized I had to go back to the drawing board and really say, okay, anyone that calls or comes through my door, I want to actually assess them and see what their needs are before we talk social media or SEO or web design
or anything.
Or anything else. So I took the behavioral portions of it, the time management portions of it, pretty much everything a startup business owner should understand and know. And I created I'm going to say a process.
Okay.
So what it is, it's business development, sales, marketing, communication in an action plan format.
Okay.
What I do, instead of just selling digital marketing, you get a small business consultant as well as a digital marketing expert. So you have the two together and we start small, because a lot of people come in, they're not ready. They're business is not ready to go public, let alone push a really nice website, and they have no actual idea of how their process is going to go. They have no intake process. They have a good business set or a good idea, but they have no forms. They have none of these things in place to allow the business to run smooth. So starting with that intake process and then helping them to understand who their target audience is. Because I'm sure you're aware that if someone comes in, they're like, hey, yeah, I market to these people, and it's no. So
Yeah.
what's their
Yeah.
age? What does she look like? Explain her
Yeah.
to me. Who's your market? Where
Yeah.
does she shop? Where does she eat during the day? So
Yeah.
to show them and take that deeper dive and help them to actually build out those personas has been very beneficial. And that's pretty much the overall of my journey and where I landed today.
That's awesome. Hey, how did your experience as a technology disruptor and radio personality shape your approach to digital marketing and business consulting?
Being a radio personality, back in the day, I was a rapper. So
Oh, cool.
it was just a thing. So of course, radio, back when I started, it was in the early 2000s. We didn't have podcasts. Podcasts it just wasn't a thing. It was just
Yeah.
like internet radio or whatever you called it. And
Yeah.
it was mainly done by us techies because
Yeah.
it was on the experiment side. If you could plug this into this into this and make it work for the internet, you're a genius. So that's what it started out as. And rolling into the tech and the business side of it, I decided to start doing business podcasts to use that as SEO to really help businesses push and tell their story, tell who they are, tell their journey. So I started to use my already popularity for the radio, for being online, and used it created a business show on my podcast station as well.
Okay.
And I still use it today.
Wow. That's pretty interesting. Is it responsible for a lot of business? It must position you as an expert as well.
Absolutely. It's very responsive for business because they get to tell their story. And a lot of times small business owners, unless you're already popular, they're not popular. They're like
Yeah.
struggling. They're not able to get online. Some of us are, and really put themselves out there and tell their story and share their journey, or even have that interview in their portfolio, which is a huge success for a startup business, and say, hey,
Yeah.
here's a little bit about me. I did an interview here. And I think that it really gives them some collateral to have with their journey or their presentation. And so I definitely have that in my package. So that's a part of the package. You get a one-on-one interview with me.
Hey, that's pretty neat. That's pretty cool. I was going to ask you, what are the biggest challenges businesses face when trying to revolutionize their operations and stay ahead of the curve from your experience?
Not budgeting for it. The
Okay.
biggest pitfall for businesses right now is they don't have a budget for it. They don't have IT written into their budget. There's no marketing written into their budget. They're pulling money from places that they didn't plan for. That's where I started to offer the virtual CIO role for smaller businesses. A lot of times they don't have that IT person to even communicate with to say, how much should I allocate towards marketing or towards internet or technology? And they just don't have it there. They don't have the knowledge. So it's literally just, we don't know what to allocate there. And they do it ad hoc. They are ad hoc.
Yeah.
Pulling it from
It's
everywhere.
not very good. But how do you identify the unique needs and wants of a client's target audience then? And why is this crucial for crafting personalized solutions?
I would say really they know who their target audience is, and using the questions that I actually use, it helps me to really identify. I use a lot of psychology. That was my major.
Oh,
And,
there you go.
Yeah. So psychology was the major and computer science was the minor. And just really asking the right questions and going through a understanding of who their customer is and writing it out. I'm a whiteboard user. We're on there. We're active, getting them excited about who's the last person you sold to. Okay, let's just describe them to me. What do they look like? Where are they located? Where do they live? And really writing that information out to help them actually hone in and build those personas out. Because we have to first teach them what a persona is.
Yeah.
Telling them, hey, you have to build a persona out, and they're looking at you like, I have no idea what this girl is talking about. She's crazy. But to go back and show them how to actually build a persona, that education is key.
Yeah. And it's so critical, isn't it? I was talking to one previous guest who was talking about how this guy was in business for 25 years selling swimming pools. And he asked him who his customer was. Is there anybody within 20 miles of my location?
Typical,
So the
typical
guy,
answer.
so the guy renting a house, renting an apartment 5 miles away from you is your customer? No, it's not. And he started to talk to him about who his customer really was. And he was wasting all this money on advertising for 25
And that's
years.
the part they don't understand, the waste.
Yeah.
They don't
Waste.
really, and I think that having the business development portion really allows me to educate the customer on how marketing is actually done, how we can really drill down into your customer and only target them, saving you tons and tons of money because you don't want to just throw up an ad.
No, you don't.
So these are things that I use as techniques to not just to educate the customer, but to get the information that I need to move forward. My hope and goal is to keep that customer with me because they feel like, hey, I'm empowered, I'm educated. Jamila's my go-to girl. I can call her and ask those questions. And we're changing every day. There's something new.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. A lot of businesses, like I worked at a car dealership, and that's the marketing director, as a lot of people know. And the OEM didn't even have personas for their models based on who they were targeting. This is a major global manufacturer that didn't even have this information. It boggled my mind. And the business owner didn't see any value in it either. He says, this is bulk crap. What do you need this for? Just get us leads. That's all I heard. Just get us leads. Just get us leads. Just get us leads. Dude, I'm trying to get you leads. I need to know who I'm targeting in order to know who I'm writing ads for, in order to know what channels are they operating on? What channels are they using? Like they too had this mentality that anybody was their customer who was with a 50 kilometer or 30-mile radius or whatever, or 25-mile radius of their dealership. It's so stupid.
It's a very common thought process when you're dealing with a business person who thinks that their target market is their neighborhood or the neighborhood in which their business is. And that's not the case.
It's not true.
And that's the educational part. That's the part that I feel like I have to provide before I can say, I can be your marketer. I can do your SEO, or I can do your digital marketing. I can't give you what you need unless you give me what I need. So now for my business, it's mandatory to go through that part. I don't care how big your organization is. We need to build out those personas. Yeah, I need to know that information. Without it, I can't perform.
No,
so that's a requirement, because what I felt like some customers in the beginning, before I implemented this portion of it, they were dissatisfied with what they asked me to do. You asked me to market. You gave me this information. This is who we're marketing to. And they're like, I'm not getting the leads that I want. Of course you're not, because none of your stuff makes sense.
That's the truth. Yeah. It's one of the most crucial things I learned from Dan Kennedy, his book, The Ultimate Marketing Plan. And he talks about this in his magnetic marketing course, that there's the 3 M's of marketing. There's your market, who is your customer. There's your message to your customer that you develop as a result of finding out who they are, a problem you're solving. And then there is your medium, your Facebook, your Google ads, your newspaper, radio, whatever that medium is. But like you said, most people just want to jump in, skip the first 2, and just jump into medium and spray it and pray it for the spray and pray it approach. So how do you convince prospects or clients or whatever would-be clients that there's the value of doing that? Because most of them just like I said, most of them just want to say, screw it, let's skip those 2 and just get me leads. Just do medium. Let's just skip those things. And how do you communicate that value, the value of doing that to them, to the point that they actually realize maybe they have an aha, eureka moment? This is a value. This isn't a waste of my time and a waste of my dollars. Yeah. How do you do that? Tell me about that.
That's part of what my intake is about. So it starts generally with what we call the discovery. So they go through discovery. Discovery is simply, can we work together? We get some people who are not going to listen. So psychologically, I need to figure out who I'm dealing with first. So let me see if this person is really ready to get started, or is this something they're just exploring? Because we don't want to waste our time either. We don't want to waste our resources. So we have that discovery call to find out, hey, and I ask them straightforward, what is your budget to market? How much money do you have to invest in this? Because I can't
That's
properly
very
build you
direct.
out a plan. Huh?
I said, that's very direct. I find most people won't answer that question.
They don't like to,
No, they don't.
but if you bring it up, and this is what I found, if I bring it up and say, how much money do you have to market? It kind of triggers something. It triggers, well, why are you asking me that? Because I need to know what type of marketing we can do for you. I don't know. Could I market you to the world, or could I just market you to the neighborhood? Who are you looking to reach? So I use that as a main focal point to get back. Okay, let's come back to that. Let me ask you some other questions. And it also helps with the commitment. So if you're going to put $20,000 behind your marketing campaigns, are you willing to commit to providing the information that I need to move forward? I don't want you to waste your money. I don't want you to lose money. I want you to see ROI off of this campaign. So really bringing that up early makes them start to think, oh, I need money. Because you'll get someone who don't have money, who have the best idea. They're eager and excited to get started. And then you give them the price and they're like, oh, can I call you back?
Wow, I don't have that. Yeah.
I know. There's no way in the world, because they're not educated on marketing and how marketing works. So really going through that intake, going through that discovery, releasing that information, digging in their pockets early, I say. And I tell people, I might go and joke, I'm a gold digger. I'm a gold digger. So I need to know how much money you got to put in.
That is,
I can make. It really breaks the ice with them to say, and I'm like, listen, I joke about it, but at the same time, I'm joking, but I'm serious. Because if you don't have money, I want you to look up. We Google. I have a screen set up in my office where they can sit at a table. So the big screen's facing them. They're sitting at the table. I'm over here on my computer. I'm doing a cast. I'm casting to that screen and I'm showing them exactly what marketing costs. So I'm showing them some of the things that I can offer them, but here's the cost. Can we make a package that makes sense for you? Yes, if you tell me your budget. If not, I have to give you these general costs. And of course, they want to play ball by then. It just makes it a lot easier. So sharing a screen, showing them statistics and averages. And I'll sometimes even let them type it in. Type in average SEO for 2023. And they'll type it in and go, oh my gosh, I can't afford this. And I'm like, wait, you can. But I'm going to work with you. But I need more information. And they're more than willing to go through my program at point to learn, be educated on it. So they're not just hearing terms and trying to buy into what's popular.
Did you find the direct approach was better than the subtle approach? For instance, what are you currently spending on marketing? What have you spent on marketing in the past? Or have you invested in marketing before? And what did you do? And how much did you spend? Was it better to just stop beating around the bush and just say, how much damn money do you have?
Yes, because what happens is we ask those questions. Those questions are leading questions. And 9 times out of 10, they have no idea. They can't give you an actual accurate answer. Or they're going to be asking you because they're trying to get you to lower your price or whatever that may be. So just direct. I'm writing numbers down. I'm like pen in hand. I'm going to write this number down. This is your number. This is the goal number. And throughout our conversation, are they going to change that number? And I always revisit. So this is affordable for you monthly. You can handle this number. It's being direct, I think really builds the relationship. I'm going to say it opens that trust relationship, because I feel like either you like me and you want to work with me or you don't. And I don't like gray areas. So it eliminates the gray area. If money is the issue when you're coming in to get marketing done, then marketing's probably not for you.
Yeah.
You can hire your niece to do some tweets and go on Facebook. Cool. We have a lot of my customers come from that type of environment where they're like, hey, my niece did all of the posting. And then I'll go on and say, I'm looking at your accounts. None of your accounts are even business accounts. So let's start there, actually creating business accounts for you. And then we can move on. But they don't understand the value in having a business account versus just a regular account, or a business account even exists. So It's
Is that still
really
common today? Is that still common
yes,
today? Oh my
absolutely,
gosh.
absolutely. Especially the mom and pop type businesses where
Yeah.
they're just getting into technology, just trying to be innovative right now. And
Yeah.
they have no idea. Oh yeah, I want to start an ad campaign for this event that I'm having on Tuesday. And I'm like, but it's Thursday. And
And you're
you
having
want to
it
do
in
what?
5 days.
You're
Yeah.
having it in 5 days and you want me to do what?
Yeah.
So
No, you should have been talking
also
about this
getting them
4
to
months ago.
understand how often, when to get started. So I just feel like education's the key to understanding like the money that you're spending. A lot of people say, hey, SEO is expensive.
It
Okay.
is.
Here's a list of things that's in there that has to be done to properly do SEO. And
Yeah.
no, the 99, I call it the $10 rack, it does not really exist
No, it
because
does
you
not.
can think, hey, this guy told me he can do my SEO
For
for
$200 an hour.
$99. And I'm like, for $99, tell him to call me and see if he can do my SEO for $99 because I
Yeah.
really appreciate that. What are you
Yeah.
ranking? Like, we didn't tell me that.
Yeah.
So I just run into those people who follow the internet myths and go for those things. And so my challenge is real.
Yeah. Oh, I get it a bit. I hear what you're saying. I've had those experiences. What advice, though, would you have for mom and pop shops or startups looking to enter the market and establish their presence in a competitive landscape?
First of all, getting with, I would say, a marketing company that offers the business development side that
Okay.
really someone you can talk to. A lot of times we go online and we click the button and I'm getting marketing now, but you have no idea what you're spending your money on. And if
Yeah.
you're educated on that, so really for my business, we focus on the smaller businesses, the ones who don't know. The big ones who understand, the big companies, the Fortune 500s,
Yeah.
they know what to get. But the
Oh, for
smaller
sure.
companies, they don't know. They don't have that direct person to talk to. They can't pick up the phone. They can't walk into that office. I tell people my big advice to a smaller business, the mom and pop businesses, start small. Work with an agency, a boutique style agency where you can talk to your social media manager, your marketer directly,
Yeah.
have that conversation, get educated on what's happening on the back end, maybe have a sit down and understand your reports that you're getting a month. It has to be a relationship building strategy involved in your marketing before, you're going to even have the want to put more money in. Because right now,
Yeah.
spending $1,000 a month on marketing just boggles people. What am I getting? That depends on you. Depends on how much
Yeah.
information you give me. They want to see instant gratification. So don't expect instant gratification and work with an agency that you can connect with. And
Mhm.
that's my advice. If you're
Yeah.
working with an agency and that you cannot pick up the phone and call them and get some questions answered, you're not going to be comfortable in a long.
Yeah. And for those people who have smaller budgets, what do you recommend to them? For instance, I have friends and family that they can't afford me.
Right.
And there's nothing I can do. I can't work for free. I have bills to pay myself.
Exactly.
And is there any advice you'd give to those people? Like, for instance, I tell them to go on sites like LinkedIn Learning. Go on LinkedIn Learning, and here's 5 courses you should take.
Absolutely.
But it would be even better if I was the one creating those courses and selling them to them.
I was going to say, I create courses. So that's what I do. So that's one of the things I do. I'll do private webinars and workshops for those people who want to learn, where I'll share my screen and I'll show you how to do some basic stuff to increase your SEO. Some people just want to buy the code because they may have an IT person who can insert the code for them. So it's ways of working around it depending on, and this is why you want to work with a smaller agency, because you can say, hey, I don't have that kind of money. I have a lot of family who owns businesses who won't dare call me because they see me and they see zeros behind my head. And I'm like, no, it's not that bad. At least talk to me. So it's really about taking a chance and again, being direct and saying, this is my budget. This is my budget. This is what I would like to see. Where do I start? Educating yourself and try. I do find that even all business owners don't have time. So let's be realistic.
Yeah.
You can teach them a million times. They're not going to be consistent as we are with knowing the process, putting it in place because I got a business to run.
Exactly.
So,
and that's,
go
ahead.
And realistic, it's a very, very realistic excuse. But at the end of the day, it's about really communicating. I'm big on communication. And I feel like we just don't do it enough. So if you communicate that to me, we have interns. I tell small mom and pop agencies, listen, get to the nearest college, get you an intern who's studying this stuff, whatever it
There
is
you
you
go.
need. And you pull that intern in and one hand washes the other. Hey, you might have an employee coming along
Maybe,
and
yeah.
if they do good work, you may be able to afford to hire them and pay them to keep them as an employee. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of ways to actually handle that. But I try to give them that general advice, getting with someone in the field that
Yeah.
can instruct you on which direction to go. It all boils down for me to consulting. Be consulting. Don't be
Yeah.
afraid to speak to a consultant because if consultant is the expert in their field, they can really direct you so you're not wasting money.
Absolutely. So you touched on something about learning and staying in the know of what's going on in digital marketing space. How do you keep up with that yourself? With the
I
emerging
personally,
trends and
I'm with everything. So right now I'm geeked out with GPT chat.
yeah.
You talk about really taking artificial intelligence. Now I've been in with artificial intelligence for about 10 years now.
Yeah.
I started working on I was a beta tester for what we called back then, Amy AI, which basically allowed my calendar to be booked properly. So Amy would
Yeah.
go back and forth with customers who sent me an email and they would book that appointment for me, which
That's
was
amazing.
back then 10 years ago. I was like, boom, this is amazing. Super duper powers over here. And then as we evolved, so I stayed in a mix, really testing a lot of the products on the back end, staying in the groups. You still want to, I say, hang with the hackers. You still want to hang with the hackers because you
Yeah.
don't ever want to lose it, because I tell my husband all the time, he's like, hey, cool, you see this technology that came out? And I'm like, yeah, it's old. It came out Thursday. It's now on Tuesday. We got it. Was something else was released. We got to get 4.0 like GPT chat. He's just getting on up the bandwagon of that. And he's like, did you try it yet? I'm like, try it. I just used 4.0 today when it came out.
Yeah, me too.
And
The first
Google
day it came
released
out.
their own AI this morning. So
Yeah.
you go back to those things and you get people, they're like, oh my gosh, like, how do you keep up with these things? But you have to stay in the groups. I call it the college groups, the groups that I was in with the developers, all the different, the white hats, the black hats. I stay in the groups of those guys and figure out what's going on. And then I lend a hand, of course, to support you in your development journey so I can test out all of your new cool software, because
Wow.
developers, they don't want to talk to you. They're not talkers. They're not the friendliest people. They don't want to, they're not fillers. In my IT department, I learned who they were as the personalities. And I realized, wow, if I stay connected to them, I don't have to learn but so much. I could be a salesperson for this stuff and just learn the technology itself as they develop it. So that's where I position myself. And I stay ahead of all the latest and greatest technologies in which we use in our agency.
Yeah. You mentioned something. There's three legs to this. There's three critical legs, in my opinion, for a business, from what I've learned: sales, operations, and marketing. And you alluded to how I'm too busy for all this. I'm too busy running my business, the operations. And to be frank with you, they're too busy working in their business when they should be working on their business.
Working on their business. And that's why my program starts with the development of the business, where we address the SOPs. How do you walk away from your business and for the day? How do you take a day off? And then the sales. What is your goals? Most people don't even set goals through the quarters. They don't even know how to set a quarter or put a goal in place for a quarter. It's unrealistic. I want to make $1 million. And I'm like, yeah, me too, off of you, but I need to help you understand how to get there. And then really to market. And that's why I created my program. My program hones in, everybody gets the same steps. And of course we customize according to the business, but those steps, they really stay in tune and we really help them focus on those things. And I haven't found anyone yet who said, hey, I don't need that part.
No,
they all need it.
They all need it. So how critical, how do you mention sales and selling? How critical was it for you to learn to sell for the success of your business?
So I work for a company called Regis. Sure. Okay.
Yeah, I know the area.
I was
here where I live.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where they actually started. So when they came to the States, I was in the pilot program that started Regis. So I had no choice but to learn how to sell meeting rooms.
Oh, wow.
And yes. So I was in the pilot startup for the United States here in Berwyn, Pennsylvania,
Wow.
running an actual Regis Center. So running Regis was like, we had no idea. And then we would get on the phone to Canada, our headquarters, and they would tell us about the success of this. And we're like, yeah, it's not working here. So it took a lot to sell a meeting room, to sell an office. And that's where I really honed in on how to sell. I really got my bearing straight of how to sell, how to
Okay.
be direct. And then I'm going to say the second case where I mastered it was selling lots when I worked for General Motors.
Okay.
Working for General Motors in the marketing division. I actually was the executive assistant to the VSM, all the marketing for the region at General Motors. And I had no idea what I was doing. I was a high titled secretary.
Okay.
That's it. And
Okay.
this is our department. I have 3 executives of this large, huge corporation who knows nothing about marketing, really. They know sales. So I knew a little bit of a thing or two about marketing, but they knew sales. But we had to make those things work together. They could sell an empty lot and place cars on it, make it look good. I had to learn all of those different things. So I was really strategically taught sales from the best. And what my takeaway was being direct, and you can't sell to everybody. Everybody's not your customer. And I try to implement that when I'm teaching as well. You have a customer base. And even if you want to make $1 million, you can just find your tribe. These people aren't your tribe. I'm a disruptor. I'm not going to try to sell to everybody. I'm not going to try to market to everybody. I want to disrupt what you think sales is. I want to disrupt if you tell people they need it. You need this. I don't have something that you want. I don't do sales. And I tell people, I don't really do sales. They say, you're not going to give me a counter offer? No. If you can't afford what I get, my price is my price.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
My price is my price. We set it in stone and we walk away. And I cried. I cried the first time I had to do that because I let money walk out the door. And then I realized later that money would have gave me the biggest headache because that was not my customer. That wasn't my customer.
You go.
And it would have driven me crazy trying to please that customer because he wasn't for me.
Yeah.
I had to understand in sales that you have a particular customer and your customer will be more than happy to give you their money because you have a product or service that they need. And it's just that simple.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It's been fascinating. How can our audience connect with you online if they choose to do so?
They can connect with me everywhere because I do SEO.
Okay.
So actually, they can reach me on my website. We do have 24-hour assistants that are on. So agents are on 24/7 and they're willing to take your information, get you into my CRM, set you up with an appointment. So we have them on our website, which is mybizconsulting.net. And that's the best way to connect with me. If not, anyone can go to any of my social media. I'm very active online. It's me behind the scenes. I don't hire a team of people because I still like to be in the mix. And this is how I stay fresh and I learn everything. But I'm everywhere on all platforms. And you can always reach out to me, shoot me a DM or inbox, and I'll get back with you.
Right on. So you're on LinkedIn and Twitter and all those things?
I'm on LinkedIn, Twitter. Everything is My Biz Consulting. On Twitter, it's My Biz Consult 304 because they kicked me off at one point.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. So,
and you personally, though, are your personal handles like your Jamilah Lawry?
Everything is Jamilah Lawry on everything else. Correct.
Okay. Yeah. So we'll make sure we put those information in the show notes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you very much for being here. It's been a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you. A pleasure being here today. And you guys have an awesome time. I look forward to talking with you again.
Right on. Thank you very much.